Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It is 4:44 on February 12th. It is Wednesday, and this is the 12th day of 4:44 a.m. Mornings with Michelle. I'm so glad you guys have all been joining me. Thank you for all of the kind words and the encouragement to get up this early. Good morning, Tammy. It's good to see you. Today we are going to finish off nutrition. And then, so that would be the fourth of the 5 foundationals. We talked about our God time, we talked about water and sleep, and now we're finishing up nutrition. And tomorrow we will start movement. So I'm going to also finish up. Yesterday we started talking about a disciplined body versus a weight loss or weight gain appearance type body and what those differences are. So those 4 were being accepting of ourselves, being careful, as food and drink are such a large part of our society. How are we eating and drinking, and what does that look like? We talked about being disciplined and having the choices to make different decisions. We talked about being grateful for the body that God has given us. We talked about those are the 4. So now we are going to talk about being persistent. In 2 Timothy 4:7, it says, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, and I have kept the faith. One of the things I like about this is we need to move forward to achieving those goals. I did a meal prep class last night, and one of the people was very new to it and just said, this is really overwhelming. I don't know if I can do all this. It's not about jumping in and being able to do everything right off the bat. It's about those small steps that equal something really big. And that really is ruthlessly persistent. So to be, it's too easy to give up. And so if you can do those small things to get to that big goal, that big achievement, that big dream, that's really what it's about, just being persistent in that. The next one is to be active, and this is going to lead right into tomorrow's movement discussion. But activity benefits us in our physical bodies, our cardio stamina, and also helps our mental alertness. The more physically active we are, the better that our whole body works together. So many people say, when I get to the gym and when I get doing different things and when I get moving, I feel so much better. And it really is true. So Hebrews 12:1 says, therefore, since we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles us, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. I really like this in terms of weight loss and applying it to that as well, is that sin that can so easily entangle us can really look like 2 things. It can look like physical weight. We have more weight on our body than we need to be carrying around in this life to do the purpose that God has for us. But it can also be emotional baggage. If you think of all of the stuff that hinders us and weighs us down, think of it like carrying suitcases. If you've got a huge suitcase that you check at the airport, you have a carry-on that you would check, you have a backpack that you're carrying, you have a purse that you're carrying, all of these different emotional things that we have that we drag along with us are really what's weighing us down. If we can think about throwing those things off and being active in our pursuit to do those things, and being persistent, then it really will help us in the long term. And that's really what that disciplined body is versus, I'm just getting rid of some weight that's on me. But it's really that whole lifestyle and the way that we go about it. So that finishes off our disciplined body versus our weight loss or our appearance type body. The next thing I want to cover, which we talked yesterday about macronutrients. So you've got your carbs, your fats, your proteins. The majority of our stuff is prepackaged today that we buy at the store. And so nutrition labels and understanding what you're reading is really important. The big thing about it, nutrition labels, is people get a lot of ideas and they hear a lot of things like, oh, you can't eat that, it's not good for you. Oh, you can't eat that and it's not good for you. Today, if we could live in a society where everybody ate off farms and everything was organic. We would feel a whole much better. There wouldn't be a ton of chemicals. But in today's society, it's really just not easily possible. Not saying it can't be done, but it's just not easily possible. So when we think of what we need to eat and how we need to eat it, it can get super overwhelming. You could worry about everything. You could worry about carbs. You could worry about calories. You could worry about sodium. You could worry about aspartame. You could worry about all of the GMOs. There's so many different things to worry about that it can be super overwhelming. It goes back to everybody's unique. You need to figure out for you what's important for you in your lifestyle. If you have, I'm going to think of Hashimoto's, you really shouldn't be eating gluten. And so therefore you really got to watch your labels for things that contain gluten and pick gluten-free options. Those are the types of things that really start to have you work and eliminate out of your diet versus being worried about everything that you're eating. So I'm going to pull up a nutrition label here, and we're just going to go through the basics of it and be able to go and look at. All right. So this is a really basic nutrition label. The great part is that nutrition labels, because of laws and regulations, they're all set up the exact same way. So you really don't have to worry about the label being really different and having to go hunt for things. They're all laid out really the same. So at the very, very top, that number 1, you always have your serving size and your servings per container. So when you look at serving sizes, in this case, this one is 2/3 a cup or 55 grams. I'm really big on weighing everything. I would set my bowl on a scale, clear out the bowl, and then I would put in 55 grams worth of whatever I am eating in this case. So that would be how I would know I'm eating one serving. In this container, there's 8 servings per container. So if I was using the whole thing, if I did 8 times 55, that would give me the total weight of the container. And we'll come back to that in a second because it's important. So if my serving size is that 55 grams, that 55 grams is 230 calories, which is your number 2. So there's 230 calories in this food item that I'm eating. If I was doing the whole container, I would take that 8 serving value and times it by that 230 value to get the full amount of calories, which is going to be what's a little over 1,600, give or take. It's too early to do math. So that would be how you read that calories and then the per serving amount. So if you think of a bag of chips is normally a serving is 28 grams. And it can range anywhere from like a salt chip that's 110 calories up to like a Doritos, I think, is 160. So that varies depending on which chip you have and what you're eating. The next part you'll see I have highlighted are the 3 different macronutrients that we talked about yesterday. So your total fat is always at the very top, and you can see that 8 grams total fat grams. And then you can see that saturated fat and that trans fat. So the good thing about this is, I'm trying to see that little number. There we go. Your saturated fat in this case is only 1 gram of that 8 grams. So when we're talking about good fats versus bad fats, the nutrition label lists the 2 bad fats. And so you actually have more good fats in whatever this was than you do bad. And so that's where you can kind of see those trans fats and the saturated fats that aren't as good for you as the other 2 right there. Your third one is your carbohydrates. So you can see in this one, you've got 37 grams of total carbohydrates. And you can see down here that total sugars is 12, includes that 10 added grams. So when we look at those good carbs versus bad carbs, again, it's listing out the not so good carbs down here. So you can see about 1/3-ish of that is the total sugar in this case. So when you're looking for it, it's not just this big number that matters, but also the ones that are underneath it. last but not least is that protein. So in this one, there's 3 grams of protein per serving. So again, if you were to eat the whole 8, you'd take 3 times 24 and you'd be eating 24 grams of protein. The last part of this down here is your beneficial nutrients. So your vitamin D's, your vitamin A's, your vitamin C's, and it kind of just gives you that other things that are in there to help out. The last part is always there. And when you look at these percentages down the side, it tells you that this is based on a percentage daily value of 2,000 calories a day. So the average person, if you put everybody together, really should eat about 2,000 calories a day. Again, we're all unique. That's not for everybody, but 2,000 is what the general nutrition advice uses. So when you think about that, you can say, okay, if I'm supposed to eat 2,000 calories a day, I can see that I'm getting 10% of my day value in total fats. I'm getting 13% in total carbs. And then you can see your vitamins, the percentage of that as well. So just kind of a little bit on what those percentages on the side mean. Because I don't eat 2,000 calories a day, it doesn't really help me. It just kind of gives me that estimate. So depending on if you eat more or less than that, it gets you just kind of an estimate on what that looks like for an average person's day. So that is a little bit about nutrition labels. I encourage time you go to the store to really look at, oh, Tammy, you can't see anything. Well, I just did a whole thing on that. I will do another post and I will show that and work on that for next time. Bummer. Okay. Well, I'll do a whole nother post on that and actually post it so you guys can see it. Thanks for letting me know, Tammy. Okay, so finishing up nutrition labels. Now I've got myself. So yes, nutrition labels. So next time you go to the store, start picking up the back of packages, start comparing different things. I used an enchilada sauce last night, and I normally always use the exact same one. And it was 20 calories per serving, but I needed extra. And so someone stopped at the store for me and grabbed it, and they didn't have the one I normally get. So they just picked up whatever was there. And the big difference was that the calories per serving was actually 70 versus my normal 20. So when I'm using the whole thing, which is about 18 ounces, that adds up really quickly when you look at how many servings that is. It's about 9 servings. So an extra 50 calories times 9 is an extra 450 calories. Now, I was cooking in bulk, so it didn't matter as much, but when you think about it, that's still a lot. So really start to look at the back of your labels and see how many calories are in there. What's that protein look like? Are there better options that have more protein that I can pick up that I like? So that will be where I will leave you guys for today. Hit subscribe so that when I post the video or the video of the nutrition label, you guys will be able to see it. And I will make sure to do that today for you. And then make sure you hit that like button so I know that you guys saw this. And tell a friend if somebody's struggling with nutrition and wants to understand it, send them here and we'll get them going. You guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.